Hey, welcome everyone to the Wealthy Speaker Podcast. This is going to be one of our podcast quickies. I'm getting some good feedback on those, and the goal is to give you just, like one or two juicy ideas, something you can sink your teeth into in a short period of time. For those of you with a dirty mind, that's enough. Don't go there. I have this weird little ahem throat clearing thing, so I just want you to know I am trying to work on it. I apologize if it annoys. Today, we're going to talk about your recipe for success. What does that even mean? Your recipe for success. So my coach, Lisa Larder, gave me this analogy that I have been using quite a bit lately, and I have found it to be so relevant. One of the main issues that after 30 years in the speaking business of kind of getting the same complaints over and over again. I'm not making enough money or any money. I'm not getting booked enough. I'm not sure what to do. One of the kind of central themes of that is that a lot of people will try to stitch together a strategy. And my coach put it like this. Imagine that you want to make a batch of chocolate chip cookies. That makes me a little bit hungry just talking about it. I am not a baker. You guys may know that about me. I don't know if you do. I am not a baker. My husband jokes that I make really great reservations, but actually I can bake. But here's the thing. If I were to want to make a batch of chocolate chip cookies, I would go out onto the internet and I would find the best recipe I could, and then I would follow it from beginning to end. What I wouldn't do, and this is what I mean by stitching together a strategy, what I wouldn't do is Google how to something and then watch a YouTube video and then read somebody's blog and listen to somebody's podcast and just take the best of each recipe. I wouldn't go out and find 10 different recipes and pluck an ingredient out of each and then try to stitch together my recipe. I would actually follow a recipe from beginning to end. Does that make sense? And basically that's what we do over here at the Wealthy Speaker School is we provide the recipe, the time tested, proven over and over again, thousands of speakers have used and gotten great results using this recipe. We just had Kwesi Millington come into the school. He is a student in our school, and he had just posted on Instagram that last year, the entire year, he had done 18 presentations. And this year, in the first quarter, he had done 18 or 19 presentations. So he was on track to having the best year of his business. And that is because he took one recipe and followed it beginning to end. And when I thought back in my own business, the first 15 years of my time in the speaking industry, I've been in it for over 30 years now, but the first 15 years was spent as an agent for speakers. So my very first speaker, her name was Betska K. Burr, leadership expert, had just written a book and came out of a management position at 3M, and I became her agent. And we followed Tom Winninger's. For those of you who have been around the block a time or two, you will know this name, the amazing Tom Winninger. He is no longer with us, and I'm sure is dearly, dearly, dearly missed by his close friends and family. But we followed his recipe. He put out, back then, it was a cassette series. And I listened to some of those cassettes probably dozens of times. I also followed some other people in that time frame, but really when it came to the speaking business, Tom was our guru. And here's why this matters. With Betska, we doubled her business year after year. I went on after that to work with Peter Legg, an amazing publisher out in Vancouver. We doubled Peter's business year after year. Then I got recruited down to Dallas to work with Vince Pacenti. We doubled Vince's business year after year, going from zero to about $1 million in 5 years. How did we do that? We did it by following the recipe. I took the Wininger recipe with me and used it everywhere I went. And it wasn't hard. It was just a simple process of planting seeds, which is what we teach in the school. And it worked. It worked. So after working with Vince Pacenti, I actually worked on for the Speakers Bureau for a couple of years, running their exclusives division. We had Sugar Ray Leonard, we had Susan O'Malley, who I was just talking about today to one of my buddies at Kepler. She was the president of Washington Wizards. We had quite a number of best-selling authors and quite successful speakers. We brought Joe Calloway into our exclusives division for a short period of time. It wasn't a good fit, but I think that we used the exact same recipe to get all of those people booked time and time again. And it's amazing when I think about it how, the recipe has changed and evolved over the years. It's no longer call someone up on the phone, send them a package that looks like a pizza box with some VHS tapes and marketing materials in it. That doesn't really happen today. But the premise of call, send, call is pretty much the same. We really want to still be planting seeds and then following up. Plant seeds, follow up. Plant seeds, follow up. So when I went out on my own, I did about 15 years as an agent, and then I came back to Canada. This was post 9/11, and I learned and became certified as a coach. And immediately getting into the industry, I came in with a lot of confidence, and so I started asking people what they were going to be charging as a coach. And in my mind, I thought, okay, well, I'm not going that low because I felt like I already knew a lot of stuff. I already knew the recipe. I already knew what I was going to be passing along to my clients. And one of the smartest things I think I did was I documented the recipe into what it was then, 15 years after I learned it. And we actually called the recipe, this is in the Wealthy Speaker 2.0. If you haven't read it and you're an emerging speaker, this is the book to have. The recipe now is called Ready, Aim, Fire. In the ready stage, we get the ready stage is all about clarity. We get crystal clear on what we're selling. We figure out who our audience is going to be. We create a promise statement. If needed, we pick a lane, which is absolutely essential for all of this working. Got to get some clarity right at the beginning and decide what topic you're going to be known for. We set our fees. And once all of that is done, we move from ready into aim. And in aim, it's all about marketing. So we have two big chunks in there. One is like your regular marketing, like your website and your videos and things like that. What do you need for those to work for you? But we have a huge chunk inside the school on the speech, because there is no better form of marketing than an amazing speech. So we have a big chunk there on both virtual and in-person presentations that people learn from. And once they're finished that section in AIM, then they move into FIRE. And if you start at FIRE, you're going to have problems because you're going to lack clarity and you're going to lack marketing. Once you're into FIRE, we want to start rolling it out to our target market. And this is where that seed planting idea comes in. We're just planting seeds. I said this on a previous podcast, but there's really only two things required for success in the speaking business. Number one is belief in your dream. You need to believe, the first sale is to yourself. You need to believe 100% that what you want is possible and that you bring value to the table. And then number two is consistent action. And in the Ready, Aim, Fire section, the fire section is where we really get into the action of planting the seeds and selling. And a lot of people are really tempted to skip and go straight to fire. And you could if you wanted to. You have access to everything when you enter the school. But really, what we recommend is that you go through all the things that you want to go through and then start back at the beginning. And we celebrate with people when they finish Ready, when they finish Aim, and when they finish Fire. And that's a lot of fun inside the school. So having coached speakers now for over 20 years, having written now 5 books in the industry, I'm kind of telling you all this because I want, it's been a long time. Many of my listeners actually don't even know what my background is. So we started with The Wealthy Speaker, and then I wrote The Wealthy Speaker 2.0, and I've been brewing on whether or not I need to do a 3.0 because of COVID and all the things that changed. Then we wrote the Epic Keynote, and then the Wealthy Speaker Daily Success Planner and Journal. That's something that is used daily by many, many speakers out there to keep their actions and their ideas on track, to keep focused on the things that matter, and add gratitude and important things like that into your morning routine. And the most recent one is the most recent book that I've written is called Scaling Your Speaking Business. And this is a 30-plus year career built on one recipe given to me by Tom Wininger. A 30-plus, I'm never going to get to 40, you guys. I'm just going to stay 30-plus forever. A 30-plus year business built, and career, I guess, built on one recipe. So let me ask you this. What's your recipe? Are you clear? Does it need shoring up? Are you stitching together your recipe, going out, trying to take a little piece of this, a little piece of that, or are you following one recipe from start to finish? If you need help, if you're stitching together your recipe and you feel like you need help, I hope you will go into the show notes for today and grab the link to our speaker concierge and book a call, because we would love to have a chat with you to see if we can help you create the speaking business of your dreams. I am super, super excited that we have this new concierge, and it will direct you to the person who's most appropriate for that call. And I'm excited to see you in our world. I hope that will happen very soon. So I trust that you'll be thinking about your recipe for success. I'll see you soon, Wealthy Speakers.